Hey guys, this is Dan Seifer from mobileburn.com, and what I've got here is the Motorola DROID BIONIC for Verizon Wireless. This has been a long-awaited DROID BIONIC that was first originally announced earlier this year, about 9 months ago, at CES, but it looked very different then, and Motorola has redesigned it entirely, and it looks much more similar to a DROID X or a DROID X2 in the rest of Motorola and Verizon's DROID family. But what we've got here is Motorola's first 4G LTE device, LTE smartphone, excuse me, and it is also the thinnest LTE smartphone to hit the market. So let's take a quick tour at the hardware here. What you can see here is we've got a 4.3-inch QHD display. It's made of Gorilla Glass, and it's got a dual-layer anti-glare coating on top of that. Below the display, we've got 4 capacitive buttons for menu, home, back, and search. And then you've got a microphone port below that. Up above the display, we've got an earpiece and a front-facing VGA camera. We also have a couple of light sensors up there as well. Looking at the side of the device, now Motorola was keen to say that this is less than 11 millimeters, and they say it measures 10.99 millimeters, so take it as you will, but that would be at its thinnest point, 10.99 millimeters, and this is the thinnest LTE phone that has been released for Verizon's network to date. On this particular side, we've got a micro USB port here and a micro HDMI port. Now those are side by side next to each other because this Bionic is compatible with Motorola's line of Webtop accessories. So there's a adapter piece that allows you to plug it into a TV through an HDMI cable through there. It also, there's a HD dock that you can dock it in, and then Motorola and Verizon are also offering a laptop dock that you can dock it in as well. If we look at the bottom of the device, not too much there. We've got a beveled edge for contouring. The other side is pretty sparse as well. No camera key, as you can see here. It's just got the volume rocker up and down. And then on top of the device, we've got your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and your power sleep unlock key. So pretty Spartan, not too many as far as buttons and controls on the sides of the device. If we look at the back, you've got a soft touch rubber cover. It's a plastic cover. It's not the metal covers that we've seen on, say, like the DROID series, like the DROID 1, 2, or 3, or even the DROID X. It's a much thinner cover. Then we've got an external speaker here. Over here is another portion of the external speaker and a microphone, and then right next to that is the 8 megapixel autofocus camera. And this is capable of recording 1080p HD video. And as you can see there, it's got an LED flash. Now if we pry off the battery cover, as I said earlier, you can see it's a kind of a flimsy plastic there that's got that soft touch coating on it. We can take a look at the battery here, and the battery is a 1735 milliamp hour unit. Motorola and Verizon say this is the largest unit that has been put in the 4G LTE phone to date, and they expect you to get about 11 hours of talk time or just over 8 days of standby with it. Above that, you can see down there the SIM card for the 4G LTE service, and then you've got a 16 gigabyte micro SD card that comes pre-installed. The Bionic also has 16 gigabytes of internal memory, internal storage, excuse me, that is partitioned so that you can store media on there or use for app storage, and there's about 4 gigabytes for app storage. Now in your hand, the Bionic feels pretty nice. It is deceptively light. It's not as heavy as you would think it might be. It does weigh about 158 grams, which is about 5.6 ounces or so, but it's certainly not as heavy as, say, the DROID 2 or the DROID 3 that have the slide-out keyboards. There's no real metal pieces to this like we've seen on other DROID series models from Motorola. It is mostly plastic, and that probably adds to the lightweight feeling in your hand. Now, the DROID Bionic is the first LTE device for Verizon to come preloaded with Android 2.3.4 Gingerbread, and it does support the Google Talk video calling. On top of that, we've got Motorola's custom user interface here that they used to call Moto Blur, but they're not referring to that anymore. They just is their custom interface, and it's very similar to what we saw on the DROID 3, with a couple tweaks here and there for performance enhancements. For starters, you've got 5 home screens that you can page through back and forth, and you can kind of see this 3D rotating pages that happen as you pan across the screens. If you double tap the home key when you're on the home screen, there we go. You get a kind of a zoomed out view of the 5 home screens, a little bit different than the normal layout of a helicopter view that we normally see with these, and then you can tap one of the home screens to access it there. A lot of Motorola's customizations and widgets have quite a few 3D animations and flares to them. As you can see, this contacts widget here that has your favorite contacts has a zooming, cascading animation here, which is pretty cool. If you tap and hold widgets and you move them around, they got this like fluttery, almost paper-like appearance to them, and you can see how they will fit on the grid of icons on the screen. And of course you can move it to a different home screen if you'd like. Then Motorola does offer the resizable widgets for certain ones. So if you tap and hold one of the eligible widgets, you can drag one of the handles. There we go. And size it down to a smaller size if you'd like. So also some of the widgets have been upgraded with the ability to scroll. So we got an email widget here, and we can scroll through our inbox and take a look at the messages there, as you can see. And the calendar widget does the same. Scrolling is not particularly smooth on the widgets, but it is available. The notification tray is pretty standard. You don't have any shortcut buttons up there, but if you do get notifications in, you can delete them one by one, as we saw on the Droid 3 and the Motorola Photon 4G for Sprint. Pre-installed, you've got a kind of a gallery widget here that will open up your photo gallery, and it'll show you pictures that your friends on Facebook have shared, and you can comment on them and like them like so. And then over here we've got a widget for bookmarks, and you can customize this with different quick access bookmarks for the web browser. Now if we open up the app tray, you've got is a side-scrolling app tray, and you can see it's kind of got this 3D effect as we pan from page to page. And you can narrow that down to all apps, your recently used apps, downloaded apps that you've added, and then the Verizon Wireless specific apps that have come pre-installed on the phone. As you can see, there's a number here that have come specifically for Verizon. You've got instant messaging application there, mobile hotspot, My Verizon Mobile, NFL Mobile, suite of VCast apps there, visual voicemail, VZ Navigator. These are not removable by the user, as far as we can tell, but there is about 4 gigabytes of app storage space, so they don't take up a whole lot of space, and you do have plenty of space to add your own apps. If you hit the menu button down here, you can sort your apps by different ways. You can sort alphabetically, by frequently used or recently used applications if you'd like. Now the Droid Bionic is powered by a dual-core TI OMAP processor. It's got about 1 gigabyte of RAM, so you can see it's very fast and performance is very snappy and fluid so far. We haven't had a lot of time with it to load it down with a ton of applications and really put it through hard paces, but from first time you pick it up, it's got very good response, and it's very snappy, as you can see, scrolling through lists such as say our contacts. There we go. Our contacts is very fast and smooth with minimal lag. Opening applications, and the app tray is pretty fast as well. If we take a look at the text messaging applications, it's the same text messaging application that we saw on the Droid 3 and the Motorola Photon 4G for Sprint. It's a fairly minimally skinned version of the standard Android text messaging app, but you've got conversation messages, so you can see your sent and replies in line like so. And let's see, it's just send a message here. And you can see the on-screen keyboard here, which is Motorola's custom multi-touch keyboard, which generally works pretty well in our experience. You can, of course, also rotate that and get a larger horizontal keyboard if you'd prefer there. Also included out of the box is the swipe keyboard. So if you prefer to use swipe, you can do that, and you can see it's been skinned to match the Motorola keyboard as well. And this is a newer version of swipe that offers the suggestions in line as opposed to a pop-up. If we take a quick look at the email application, the email application with Motorola's customizations is pretty solid. We liked it in the past before, and there's not really anything different here. It's very fast. It offers pinch to zoom. It offers formatted text, as you can see here, and you can double tap to zoom. You can view in landscape as well. And it also supports push services for IMAP Idle. So if you have an IMAP account that supports IMAP Idle, you can get push email services, which is nice. You can manage multiple accounts at once, like so. You can move those to a different folder or delete them if you prefer. And if you have a couple different inboxes, you can access more than one inbox at once, or you can jump to your folders list very quickly and easily. Taking a look at the browser on the Droid Bionic, we've got is a modified version of the standard Android browser that Motorola has added a few customizations and tweaks to. It supports multiple windows, so you can see you can open up more than one window at once and access it quickly and easily from the list. Let's load up mobileburn here. And here it's loading up our full website, and you can see it loaded pretty quickly, and it's still loading a little bit in the background for the ads. You can still scroll pretty smoothly and effortlessly, like so. Of course, you got double tap to zoom, and you got pinch to zoom as well. Not quite as smooth as we've seen on other devices. The zooming is definitely not as smooth as we've seen on Samsung's Galaxy S2 devices. But it does work fairly well for most intents and purposes. Of course, you can access the page in landscape too. And since it's got Adobe Flash 10.3, you can watch embedded Flash videos with ease. So there you go. Now, one of the cool things that Motorola has done is they've added this share button up here. So if you hit that, by default, it will put the page into a status update, so you can easily share it on Facebook. But if you hit this arrow here, you can post it to a specific friend's profile, post it to a different social messaging account, text messaging, you can share it through Bluetooth, the VCast Media Manager, email, or Gmail there. So it's pretty unique spin on the standard share button for Android there.